All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you're a young professional, you're starting to earn real money, and you're eyeing the stock market, you're probably super eager to just jump in. I get it. But today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to build a step-by-step safety net. This is literally your financial shock absorber. It protects your investments from forced selling, and honestly, it protects you from a ton of unnecessary stress. Think of me as your personal financial mentor today, helping you lay down that absolute essential foundation you need before you start chasing those high returns. I want you to think about something for a second. How does it actually feel to watch your investments drop when you have absolutely zero cash in your checking account? If the mere thought of that gives you a bit of anxiety, dread, or even a little embarrassment, I really want you to know that's completely normal. You're definitely not alone in that. When you don't have a safety net, the market's natural ups and downs feel like literal attacks on your survival. But today, we're going to fix that feeling permanently. So here's our roadmap for today: the cost of having no cushion, the psychology behind calm investing, assessing your reality, calculating your exact safety net, setting up a step-by-step build plan, and finally, how to stay on track. Let's get to it. Section 1. The cost of no cushion, and why stability absolutely matters. You see, forced selling is pretty much the ultimate trap for new investors. It happens when you're cornered into selling your investments simply because you need cash to survive right now, not because your long-term strategy actually changed. So the crucial takeaway here is that we are building this net specifically to avoid forced selling, which unfortunately often forces you to lock in your losses during a temporary market dip. Let me tell you about Carlos. Carlos loved investing. He loved his spreadsheets, listened to all the finance shows. He just loved the thrill of clicking that buy button. But then his company downsized and suddenly his paycheck just stopped. Because Carlos had no safety net whatsoever, a minor market dip suddenly felt like a massive survival threat. He literally had to sell his investments just to buy groceries, locking in a huge loss and going through an absolute emotional roller coaster. But what if things were different? Fast forward a year later, Carlos built himself a solid 3-month buffer. When the market dipped again, he didn't panic. Sure, he felt a little anxiety. Who wouldn't? But he wasn't cornered. He left his investments completely alone. Guys, that is the true power of a buffer. Moving on to Section 2, the psychology of calm investing, basically the science of stress. This is where it gets really fascinating. When you lack a safety net, your brain perceives financial instability as a literal, physical threat. It shifts right into threat mode. Your focus narrows down strictly to short-term survival, which leads directly to panic selling, just to get some quick relief. However, when you have that safety net in place, your nervous system rests in safe mode. Your capacity for long-term planning stays totally intact. Your emergency fund essentially acts as a behavioral buffer, whispering to your nervous system, hey, we're safe enough. And that alone prevents those reactive, fear-based decisions. Section 3. Assess your financial reality. And remember, there's absolutely no shame here, just facts. Let's do a really quick self-diagnosis using a simple traffic light system. Green flags? That means you have predictable income and some decent savings. You're good to proceed confidently. Yellow flags mean your income fluctuates a bit, or maybe you're relying on credit cards to get through the end of the month. That's a sign to slow down and strengthen your base. Red flags mean you have zero savings and high interest debt. Now listen to me. If you see yellow or red flags, it does not mean you're failing. It just means we need to prioritize your safety net before taking any bigger investing risks. Now, I know exactly what your brain is probably screaming at you right now. We've got to bust this massive beginner myth. But if I build an emergency fund, I'm missing out on all that investment growth. The reality? It's vastly different. Skipping the safety net doesn't make you a faster investor. It just makes you a much more fragile one. Without a buffer, you're risking selling at the exact worst possible time. The whole purpose of a safety net is not growth. The purpose is stability. Section 4. Calculate your safety net. Consider this your personal workbook. All right, let's break down a typical monthly budget. And notice what's conspicuously missing here. No streaming services, no weekend trips, definitely no dining out. We are calculating essentials only. This specific example totals $2,500 a month, covering rent, utilities, food, insurance, transport, and minimum debt payments. Your baseline is obviously going to look different depending on your lifestyle and where you live, but mentally plug in your own numbers right now. What does it cost to simply keep the lights on and keep yourself fed? That right there is your baseline. Okay, so here's the magic number 3. Once you have your baseline monthly essential cost, you're going to multiply it by 1, 3, or 6 to find your target range. 3 months is a fantastic, highly recommended basic goal. So if your essentials are $2,500, a 3-month buffer comes out to $7,500. But hey, listen to me. If 3 months feels like climbing Mount Everest right now, a 1-month starter fund is still a massive win. Perfection is absolutely not required to start feeling safer today. Next up, you absolutely have to define the exact job of this money and write it down. Because money without a strict purpose, it's going to get impulsively spent on a lifestyle upgrade. I guarantee it. This fund is absolutely not for vacations. It's not for new gadgets. You have to set firm boundaries. If your car breaks down, absolutely, use it. If you just want the newest phone, hands off.
Moving on to Section 5, the step-by-step build plan. Let's turn that intention into actual action. I want you to follow these 3 exact steps to literally take the decision-making entirely out of your hands. First, decide how much you can actually spare, say $150 every single paycheck. Second, pick the exact date that money moves. Third, and this is the most important one, schedule the automation right there in your banking app. Put your resilience building on pure autopilot so you don't have to rely on your own willpower at the end of a really tiring month. Okay, I absolutely love this psychological trick. Log into your banking app and rename the account. Seriously, don't just leave it as savings account 004. Change it to something that strongly signals stability rather than temptation. Call it the Calm Fund, Sleep Well Money, or the Resilience Reserve. Behavioral research actually shows that the labels we give things heavily influence how we behave towards them. You are so much less likely to raid the Sleep Well Money for last-minute concert tickets. Finally, Section 6, stay on track. This is your 7-day checklist. I'd highly recommend just taking a quick screenshot of this 7-day checklist right now. Use it to build your saving habit one tiny, super manageable step at a time. Day 1, confirm your target. Day 2, find just one unnecessary subscription to cancel and redirect that cash. By day 3, make that first transfer. Seriously, no matter how small it is. Follow this, and by day 7, you've built yourself a fully functional financial shock absorber. So whenever your brain fights back and wants to go chase those risky, short-term market returns, use this mantra. This fund is not lost opportunity. It is financial oxygen. Stability always protects your growth. By building this net, you're literally giving your investments the freedom to stay invested when life inevitably gets messy. So I'll leave you with this one thought to ponder. When the next market crash happens, and it will, what is your future self going to thank you for building today? Will it be panic or will it be peace? Go start building your net.